All right, everybody, welcome back. So you want to talk Tesla bot. You want to talk Optimus.
Let's do it.
Let's dive into this Optimus event that happened because there's a lot to unpack here. And I think what's really interesting is it's not just the news itself, but it's kind of like what's going on behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I think, you and I both read through, what happened, what people are saying. And Milan Kovac, the head of the Optimus team there,
Yeah.
he seemed really amped.
Oh, yeah. He was excited about this. And
Yeah.
rightfully so. This was a pretty big step forward. Even though it's very early, it was still a very significant milestone, I think.
Yeah, and, they had 20 robots all moving around in this really crowded space, interacting with people, and I think...
And not just interacting, but like doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like actually semi-complicated stuff.
Yeah, and not falling over, which is kind of a big deal in the robotics world.
Yeah, that's true. And that is something that's very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
To have a robot that can just walk around, not fall over.
Well,
And especially in a public setting like that.
one did.
One of them did, right? But it happens.
One of them tripped over a handbag.
Over a handbag, yeah.
Which, it's almost funny.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you, like, the unpredictability.
It really does, yeah. Because, most of the time when we see these demos, it's in a very controlled environment.
Right.
This was out, like, basically in public.
Totally.
It was really interesting to see. So the fact that, only one took a tumble, I'd say that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were walking and dancing. They were even serving drinks, which is...
Yeah, a little party trick there.
It's always a good party trick when you got a robot that can circle drinks, right?
Yeah, it's not, yeah, sign me up, right?
Yeah.
I think that's obviously there's a lot of people that are going to look at that and be like,
Okay.
Why? Why do we need robots to serve us drinks?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really about that.
Right.
What it's about is the underlying technology that had to happen to make that possible.
Exactly. And it showed off that they can do these things for hours independently.
Right. So the autonomy aspect, I think, is really, really, even if it's very, very basic right now.
Yeah.
Very, very
It's a
basic.
stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
That's really what we're looking at here. And I think people have to keep that in mind, that, it's very, very early days.
Totally.
But what we saw at this event, compared to what we saw last year, the year before, is a pretty significant jump.
Huge.
So, in terms of the rate of progress, it's pretty remarkable.
Absolutely. And one of the things that they were really talking about was the new hand design. They said it's got more dexterity, better sensors, almost like a human hand, which, that sounds really cool.
It does. It sounds cool on paper, but the implications of this are huge.
Totally.
And the reason why is because for robots to be actually useful in the real world, they need to be able to interact with objects as delicately, as precisely as we do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We take our hands for granted.
Oh, 100%.
The amount of sensing and dexterity,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
So for a robot to be able to do that, to be able to pick up an egg without crushing it,
Right.
to be able to thread a needle, to be able to do all these things,
Right.
requires a level of sophistication that we just haven't seen in robotics yet.
Right.
Until now, potentially.
Well, and they're saying that this new hand is a game changer.
Yeah. And honestly, it could be. We don't know. We haven't, gotten our hands on it yet, so to speak.
Right.
But if it's as good as they're saying it is, it really does open up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's super exciting.
We could be talking robots that can handle, like I said, fragile objects, perform really intricate repairs, even assist with surgery.
Right.
The possibilities are really pretty much endless.
Yeah, and one of the things that Kovac really drove home was how difficult a live demo is compared to
Oh, absolutely.
those pre-recorded presentations.
It's night and day. Pre-recorded, you can make it perfect, right?
Yeah.
You can edit it, you can try it again.
Right.
Live, it's got to work.
Yep.
And it's got to work the first time. So, for them to have pulled this off, it's a testament to how far they've come.
It's amazing.
I was really blown away by it, to be honest.
Absolutely. And he specifically mentioned significant improvement in the controls, the stability, and the infrastructure. What does that even mean?
That's what I thought was most interesting about his comments, right? Because when he's talking about infrastructure, it makes me think that, they've got a pretty sophisticated setup there, that they're able to test these robots, they're able to collect data, they're able to iterate very, very quickly. And to me, what that says is that the pace of development is probably only going to accelerate.
Wow.
Um, which is a little scary,
Right.
but it's also really exciting. I mean, we could see these things becoming more and more capable,
Yeah.
much faster than any of us thought possible, even a year or two ago.
That's wild. And he teases us with, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're making strides in bot autonomy. More to come on that later, apparently.
Yeah, that was the mic drop moment for me, where
Totally.
it's like, okay, so not only are they, better at walking and doing these, party tricks, but they're also starting to think for themselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very curious to see where that goes.
Well, it's interesting because it kind of makes you wonder, what would you want a robot like Optimus to be able to do?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you would find useful in your life?
Oh man, that's a whole other podcast, right? But I think for me it's about assistance.
Yeah.
It's about having a
Yeah.
little helper that can, do those mundane tasks
Totally.
that I don't want to do.
Right.
Maybe it's doing the dishes, maybe it's folding laundry.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, going and getting me a drink.
Right. Exactly.
But things that free up my time so I can focus on more important things.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you think, as these machines become more autonomous, as they're more integrated into our lives, I think there's a lot of things to consider there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and I don't think there's any easy answers.
Right.
But I think it's a conversation that we need to start having now
Yeah.
before it's too late. Because, this technology is not going away. It's only going to get more and more powerful.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, that's for sure.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
All right, everybody. Well, that's our deep dive into Tesla's Optimus event. We hope you enjoyed it.
See you next time.
See you next time.